This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on a budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? You greatly appreciate it. Come on in, make yourself at home. You know the routine. This week for my collection video, I wanted to focus on underrated hidden gem movies that you might not have seen before. What I mean by underrated hidden gems, for example, if you were invited to a movie that you knew nothing about and you turned around and ended up loving the movie. For example, Spike Lee's She's Gotta Have It. Didn't know anything about that. Saw it in a movie theater in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Came out, loved it. I think that's what made me have an appreciation for movies more as just entertainment, but as actually works of art. Another example, Raising Arizona with Nicolas Cage. Didn't know anything about it. Left the movie, thought that was the stupidest movie I ever saw, but somehow that yodeling background music kept echoing in my head in that scene at the prison where the psychiatrist is acting prisoner. Why do you feel trapped in a woman's body? Well, sometimes I be getting the menstrual cramps real hard. Like, those kind of things just eventually made me love the movie Raising Arizona. Or something that made more relevant if you're in Netflix or any of the streaming services and you've seen all the major movies and you're looking for something extra to watch and you pick something that looks interesting, and from the first scene you're captivated and you're in the edge of your seat throughout the movie, and either it's that intriguing, is that exciting, or that interesting, that becomes your favorite hidden gem. So if you have a favorite hidden gem, please leave it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Now, without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink of a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm going to kick it off with my number 5 pick for underrated gems that you might not have seen. This is the 2018 drama horror mystery thriller Unsane. This was directed by Steven Soderbergh, produced by Corey Bays, written by Jonathan Bernstein. This stars Joshua Leonard, Claire Foy, Sarah Stiles, Mark Kuddish, Jay Farrell from Saturday Night Live, the guy who does all the impressions. He's also has a part in there. The plot behind this, you have a woman and an involuntary committed to be a woman is involuntarily committed to a mental institution where she is confronted by her greatest fear. And as I've gotten older, this is a universal release, I love horror pictures. I love the monsters, Dracula, vampires, Wolfman, the evil possessions, haunted house. But as I've gotten older, the ones that scare me more are the ones that could actually happen to you in real life. And just picture this, you're in possibly, I'll use myself for example. I moved to Florida, I moved by myself, didn't know anyone. Let's say you're just having a bad time, you're at a low point in your life, and you say the wrong thing around the wrong person, and you're committed to an institution. You might think it's just going to be a 24-hour thing. 24 hours stretches to 48 to a week, and you don't know when you're going to get out. And it's that type of vibe to the movie. And if you're not familiar with the director, Steven Soderbergh, he's done things such as Sex, Lies, and Videotapes, The Limey, which is a really cool, underrated gangster picture, Traffic. He did all 3 Ocean movies, Ocean 11, Ocean 12, and Ocean 13. And he also did the movie Lucky Logan, with Daniel Craig. I think that might have been before he became Bond. He did this like on a $1.5 million budget, which is minuscule, especially in 2018, and was very cool. He shot the whole movie with a iPhone 7 Plus in 4K. And again, it's not what you really expect from a low budget movie, though. It's very suspenseful, keeps you on your toes until the end. You're trying to figure out what's really going to happen. So my number 5 pick for Unseen Gems, Unsane. My next pick is the 2007 drama fantasy mystery science fiction movie, The Man from Earth. This was directed by Richard Shankman, produced by Stephen Alexander, written by Jerome Bixby. This stars David Lee Smith, Tony Todd, aka the Candyman, John Billingsley, Alan Crawford, Anika Peterson, William Catt, Greatest American Hero, the television show, Alex Thorpe, Rich Ryle, Stephen Littles, Chase Sprague, and Robin Bryan. The plot behind this: an impromptu goodbye party for Professor John Oldman becomes a mysterious interrogation after the retiring scholar reveals to his colleagues and I'll leave it there. And this was, speaking of low budgets, this was done on a $200,000 budget. And what's really wild about this, the actual screenplay is very similar to a concept of longevity, which the writer Bixby introduced in the Requiem for Methuselah. This was a Star Trek episode back in 1969. And it really kind of gained popularity online, kind of word of mouth thing, with people sharing the movie peer to peer. And this isn't action, but it's more suspenseful, and it actually gets into some religious overtones, which, if you're very religious or offended by that, this might not be the movie for you, though. But he discusses some very relevant possible religious questions. And just well done movie. Did so well that they did a sequel, Man from Earth, Holocene. This is an Anchor Bay release. I believe Vanessa Williams is in the sequel. And I'm being specifically vague because I don't want to spoil it for you if you haven't seen this already, though. But very smart. And it's almost done in some of a play fashion because the majority of the movie takes place in one room. And to be able to keep the audience engaged when everything's just happening in one room, you have to have very good dialogue, very, very good conversation, a very good plot. So again, if you like that kind of deep thought, sci-fi, fantasy movie with religious overtones, definitely check out Man from Earth. My number 3 pick is the 2011 drama mystery thriller Take Shelter, directed by Jeff Nichols, produced by Tyler Davison, written by Jeff Nichols. This stars Michael Shannon, Jessica Chastain, Tova Stewart, Shea Wingham, Katie Mixon, Natasha Randall, Ron Kennard. The plot behind this: plagued by a series of apocalyptic visions, a young husband and father questions whether to shelter his family from coming storm or from himself. And Michael Shannon kills this role. He was built for this role. He's one of those characters that's just very unusual, like Jack Nicholson, Christopher Walken, just very off kilter though, but very interesting to watch. And the premise behind this, again, he is seeing visions, but what's scary, he comes from a family that has mental issues. So imagine you're seeing things that you shouldn't see. You know your family has a history of mental illness, so are you really going crazy, or are you really seeing the things that you're seeing? And it goes back and forth. It's like, is he losing it, or is he really seeing these things, these visions, or do they have any validity to them? And the movie kind of vacillates between, again, what's reality and what's not. And as the movie goes on, he seems to be getting more erratic and more off kilter, somewhat like insane, and the people around him are starting to worry. And just really great movie, great performance by Michael Shannon. Again, I have kind of a beat up copy because I believe it's out of print. So if I find another copy, I'm definitely picking it up though. But yeah, fantastic movie, great science fiction. I'll put this on the level of a Frailty, where again you don't know what's reality and what's not. So number 3 pick, and this was a Sony release, Take Shelter. My number 2 pick is the crime drama mystery thriller Sexy Beast. It's directed by Jonathan Glazer, produced by Mark Albella, written by Louis Mellis. This stars Ray Winstone, Ben Kingsley, Ian McShane, Amanda Redmond, James Cock, Kevin Kendall, Julianne White, Alvaro Monge. The plot behind this, ex-safecracker Gal Dove has served his time behind bars and is blissfully retired to a Spanish villa paradise with his wife he adores. The idyll is shattered by the arrival of his nemesis, Don Logan, intent on persuading Gal to return to London for one last big job. And what makes this movie is Ben Kingsley. His character is borderline so over the top, so psychotic. Oops. Just fell down. Just psychotic, like a gangster, a spoiled brat gangster that is just going to whine and rave until he gets what he wants. And Ben Kingsley's performance was so great. He got several awards. The Broadcast Film Critics Award, Boston Society of Film Critics. I think he was nominated for Academy Award. He didn't win, but he was nominated. The director also directed a somewhat obscure movie, which I didn't get into that much. I'm gonna have to watch it again, Under the Skin, with Scarlett Johansson. But again, the performance, the storyline, it's a gangster movie with a dark comedy overtone to it, mostly driven by Ben Kingsley. So if you like Ben Kingsley, especially in a gangster cutthroat type of role, definitely check out Sexy Beast. And this is a Twilight distribution, which is pretty pricey online, but I think you can find the DVD at a relatively decent price. So definitely check out Sexy Beast. My number 1 pick is the 2002 action crime drama thriller Road to Perdition. This is directed by Sam Mendes, produced by John Bradshaw, written by Max Allan Collins. This stars Tom Hanks, Stanley Tucci, Jude Law, Daniel Craig, Paul Newman, Jennifer Jason Leigh. I'm trying to see if any other big names in there. Those are the main or the big names in there. The plot behind this, Mike Sullivan works as a hitman for a crime boss, John Rooney. Sullivan views Rooney as a father figure. However, after his son, I'll leave that part out, after his son witnesses something, Mike Sullivan finds himself on the run and attempt to save the life of his son, and at the same time looking for revenge on those who wronged him. And when you hear about Tom Hanks in his big movies, you usually hear Castaway, Forrest Gump, Big, Saving Private Ryan. Sometimes people still mention Bachelor Party, but you don't hear Road to Perdition. First of all, this is actually based on a DC Comics graphic novel, so it's not based on a real life situation though, but they do a good job of blending fantasy with some historical gangster figures in there. Tom Hanks, when I first heard Tom Hanks could play a gangster role, I was like, I like him as an actor, but you just didn't really see him. This seems like more of a role for a Pacino, a De Niro, Joe Pesci, even a Michael Shannon. He nailed this role. And in movies, especially the ones most memorable, they always have this specific scene or this one line that you never forget. For example, in Passenger 57, always bet on black. Die Hard, Yippee-Ki-Yay. With this one, and again, I'm not going to give spoilers, so I'll be somewhat vague. There's a scene where Tom Hanks, aka Mike Sullivan, is doing some really gangster stuff. And the guy who he's doing it to, he's just like, do you know what you're doing? If they find out who you are, and Tom Hanks kind of cuts him off, the name is Sullivan. Do I need to spell it for you? That was just like, it was delivered in kind of a dragnet, dry delivery though, but it was just so on point. And he's like this all throughout the movie. It's film noir type of feel, that gangster feel though, but Tom Hanks definitely pulls it off. Fantastic gangster movie. So if you've never seen Road to Perdition, definitely check it out. This is a Paramount release. DVD actually looks better than the Blu-ray for the cover art. So my number one pick for hidden gems you might not have seen, Road to Perdition. And these are 5 underrated must-see movie gems that you might not have seen before. And I have plenty of more really underrated movies. So if you have a movie that's underrated that you think, leave it in the comments. I might be doing a few more of these. But if you made this far in the video, smash the like. Give me the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone, please be safe. Deuces.